noir, the villain is almost always a person, a gangster, a killer, a con artist. But here, it's different. The main danger is invisible. It slips into the city quietly without gunfire or chases, leaving no obvious trace. And it won't be investigated by the police, not by a private detective, but by people in white coats, the kind of characters who rarely take center stage in noir. They work methodically, without noise. But too much depends on what they find. It all begins like a familiar story. Smuggling, betrayal, infidelity. Faces you can't trust. But very quickly, it becomes clear. The stakes are much higher than money or revenge. Let's take a closer look at this film and see why it might surprise even someone who's seen hundreds of noir. The story opens in familiar noir settings. A night train, a port city. A woman returns to New York after a trip abroad. In her luggage, there's something the customs officers don't know about, and something she prefers not to mention at all. At home, her husband is waiting. Their relationship is tense. He's playing a double game, and there's always a shadow of questionable dealings following him. The first steps of the plot are a chain of criminal episodes, deals, deceit, and attempts to cover tracks. It seems to follow the classic genre pattern, where police and criminals trade moves like in a chess game. But gradually, a second layer of the story emerges. In the city, another thread begins to unfold, far more dangerous for everyone involved. It's invisible to the casual eye, but it has enough force to change the life of the entire metropolis. Unraveling this is not the job of the usual noir characters. Instead, specialists take the lead, people whose work rarely sits in the spotlight. They follow a chain of hints and indirect clues. Each step brings a new name, a new address, a new turn. The film makes full use of the city's spaces, streets, offices, train stations, the waterfront. It's shot in a way that lets you feel the real rhythm of late 1940s New York. And against this vivid backdrop, the finale hits even harder. At its core, there are two investigations, and both matter. One is pure noir, smuggling, backroom deals, double crosses, and betrayal. This is the part where everything revolves around money and power, and trust is the rarest currency. The second investigation is quieter, but carries far greater consequences. It's led not by police or private detectives, but by specialists whose task is to track down and neutralize an invisible threat before it reaches the entire city. Their tools are observation, analysis, and the ability to connect the smallest pieces into a bigger picture. Both storylines run in parallel, but converge on one woman. For some, she's a criminal who must be stopped. For others, she's the key to solving a puzzle that could decide the fate of millions. Everyone is heading toward the same goal, but the reasons and stakes are different for each. And all of this unfolds against the real New York of the late 1940s. The city isn't just a backdrop, it's an active player in the story. On-location shots take us through train stations, docks, alleys, and service corridors. You can feel it bustling, breathing, rushing, its lights and shadows becoming part of the intrigue. This isn't a tourist postcard, but a working city with corners an ordinary person would never see. The pace is deliberate but never idle. Every scene moves the story forward, and the noir foundation stays intact. Greed, deception, risk, and people willing to cross any line for profit. There's a rare element for the genre. Heroes fighting not only for themselves but for an entire metropolis. Fighting knowing that in this race everything is at stake. This is a film for those who love noir, but are looking for something off the beaten path. There's no familiar trench-coated detective here. Instead, we follow people from a very different profession, racing against time and taking real risks. It's for viewers who appreciate movies with the texture of a real city, filmed not on a studio set, but among genuine streets and faces. That kind of authenticity carries a charm that's almost impossible to find today. And it's for anyone curious to see how two completely different investigations can converge on a single point, and how the outcome of that point can affect not just a few individuals, but an entire metropolis. If you believe that in cinema, atmosphere can matter just as much as action, this film delivers exactly that.